You know, economic development is not something, with all due respect to our professors and people who teach MBA courses, economic development is as much an art as it is a science. And the fundamental essence of economic development, you have to have the infrastructure, you have to have the financial elements, but leadership is the most important component. Stadiums by themselves, I don't believe, are really economic development initiatives that sustain long-term commitments to real jobs. But what we're talking about here goes way beyond just a stadium. That's just the kickoff. What Mike and his team are doing are a much broader, much bigger investment that is about jobs, that is about sparking another round of investment. What's happening here at the intersection of 285 and 75. And then you go across and look at what's happening across the perimeter on 285. And then you get across to the GM site and what Egbert Perry is doing over there and what is going to be a phenomenal achievement at I-85 and 285. And you come north on both 75 and 85 with what KSU is doing, what's happening in Bartow County, what's happening up along Gwinnett County along I-85, and everything that's happening in between in Alpharetta, Johns Creek, Peachtree Corners, Roswell, Sandy Springs. But one of the bookends to all of this is what's happening right here in Cobb County.
Absolutely. So we're actually a relatively new company. We've only been around for about 10 years as Gas South, and we started with about 50 employees, and we outsourced a lot of things that we were doing back in 2006. And we've been very fortunate to be working in this county, in this environment. We've been able to close to double our customer base to serve about 300,000 customers today in Georgia and Florida. We've about quadrupled our workforce. So we went from 50 employees to over 200 today. And I'll tell you, Cobb County has been a great place to build a business. You know, people talk about the Cobb way, and I think it's that really differentiated combination of businesses, government, that would be both county and city governments working very effectively together, and nonprofit organizations delivering services to those most in need, and really creating services that make Cobb a great place to live, work, and play. This is a really attractive place, and Cumberland in particular, for younger employees. So we have a huge millennial population. Our median age is right around 32, 33 years old. So the median employee for us is a millennial. And Cobb, I think, has moved over these 10 years from a place that was getting maybe getting a little bit behind in terms of attracting a younger demographic to one that has leaped forward. And you look today at the Cumberland area, and we have the fastest growing millennial population in the entire region. It's up 32% over 5 years. That's the fastest growing millennial population. When you see all of these apartment buildings going up, you see all of the new office space, that all creates the conditions for even greater growth.
But if you have to take this to a referendum, this was a really nice lunch, because we knew that we had to play our first game in April of 2017. We are building SunTrust Park in 30 months. No one has done a stadium like that in less than 39.
We had a senator a couple of years ago, when we were working on confidentiality issues, to ensure that we would continue to attract and grow business in our state. And this state senator said, well, let's cut the deal and then have 30 days for the public to discuss it before it's finalized. I said, well, that's great. So then Alabama and North Carolina can then come in with a better deal. You cannot have an investment of this sort where an investor wants the discussion about the early details of this initiative to be done on the front pages of a newspaper or in somebody's blog. It is not going to happen. It hasn't happened, isn't happening, and is not going to happen.